Good morning, students. Today we will discuss regarding the characteristics of measurement system. So in this, today only we will discuss regarding the static characteristics of the measurement system. So the system characteristics are to be known to choose an instrument that most suited to a particular measurement application. The performance characteristics may be broadly divided into two groups, namely static characteristics and dynamic characteristics. So regarding static characteristics, it involves the measurement of the quantities that are either constant or vary slowly with time. So that is called the static characteristic. So the quantities that are constant or not varying time, or it will vary slowly with time. So that characteristics that are called static characteristics. So these criteria are called static characteristics. Second is dynamic characteristics. So it involves the measurement of quantities that are rapidly varying with time. So the dynamic relations that exist between the output and input that can be examined with differential equations. So these criteria are called dynamic characteristics. Now you can see in the graph. So that graph consists of two responses. First, it is a transient response, and second, it is followed by the steady state response. Now regarding the static characteristics, it concerns only with the steady state readings that our instrument settles down to, such as the accuracy of the reading, etc. Dynamic characteristics describes the transient behavior between the time a measured quantity changes value and the time when the instrument output attains a steady state value. So this is regarding the static and the dynamic characteristics. Okay, now we will see the static performance of the instrument. So static characteristics of an instrument are concerned only with steady state readings. So the different static characteristics are accuracy and precision, range or span, linearity and sensitivity, repeatability, reproducibility, hysteresis, threshold, resolution, dead space. Now we will discuss regarding all the static characteristics one by one. So first, it is a accuracy. So it is the closeness with which an instrument reading approaches the true value of the quantity being measured. So the true value, that you can say, it is a average of all the measured value, that is called a true value, or it is an approximation of the true value obtained by series of measurements and the corrections applied, what is called the best measured value of the quantity. So you can say this is the average of all the measured values, you will get the true value of the measurement. Thus the accuracy of a measurement means conformity to truth. The accuracy may be specified in terms of inaccuracy or limits of error that can be expressed in the following ways. So first, it is a point accuracy. So this is the accuracy of the instrument only at one point on its scale. The specification of this accuracy does not give any information about the accuracy at other point on the scale. So in other words, it does not give any information about the general accuracy of the instrument. Second, accuracy that based upon the percentage of scale range. When the instrument has uniform scale, its accuracy may be expressed in terms of scale range. Third, that is accuracy that is expressed as percentage of true value. The best way to conceive the idea of accuracy is to specify in terms of the true value of the quantity being measured, that is within plus or minus 0.5% of the true value. So this statement means that as reading gets smaller, so do the errors. Okay, so The accuracy means it is a closeness of all the readings to the true value. Okay, when the measured value it is near to the true value of the quantity, then you can say the instrument it is accurate. Then precision, it is a measure of the reproducibility of the instrument, that is given a fixed value of quantity. Precision, it is a measure of degree of agreement within the group of measurements. So in this group of measurement, readings are consistent and it is clearly defined. Okay, so all the readings that will be grouped around the one point. So there are the groupings of the all the readings. Then you can say the instrument it is precise. So you can see here. So on a graph, the different readings or the instrument readings are shown. Different series of instrument readings are shown, and the true value, the line of true value, it is shown. So true value means it is a average of all the readings, that is you will get the true value. So regarding the first portion, so all the readings that are grouped around the true value. Okay, so that you can see, so the readings that are near the true value, so you can say the instrument it is accurate. And also there are the group of readings, there is a group, the readings are not scattered, so there is a group of readings, so you can say, also you can say the instrument it is precise. So in the first case you can say the instrument it is accurate as well as precise. In a second case, so all the group of readings that are away from the true value, so you can say the instrument it is not accurate, but there is a group of readings, there is a groupings of all the readings, so you can say the instrument it is precise. In a third case, the readings that are scattering, there is a no grouping of all the readings, but it is near to the true value of the measurement or measured value, okay, or the true value. So you can say instrument it is not precise but it is accurate, because it is all the readings that are near to the true value. And in the last case, there is a not grouping, so that readings that are scattered as well as it is away from the true value, so you can say it is the instrument it is not accurate as well as it is not precise. In the next example, you can see, so there is a there are three industrial robots that were programmed to place a component at a particular point on a table. So in the first case, the target point was at the center of the concentric circles shown, and the blocks or the black dots represent the points where each robot actually deposited the component at each attempt. So both the accuracy and precision of robot number 1, it is shown in diagram 1, it is low. So low precision and low accuracy, because all the readings or all the components that are scattered, not placed at single point. Okay, robot 2 consistently puts the component down at approximately the same place, but this is a wrong point, so therefore it has a high precision but it has low accuracy. Okay, so all the, because it is away from the center. Finally, robot 3 has both high precision as well as high accuracy, because it consistently places the component at the correct target point. Okay, so this is regarding the accuracy and the precision. Now next point, that is the range or span. So in an analog indicating instrument, the value of measurand is indicated on a scale by a pointer, while in recording instrument it is indicated on a chart by a pen mechanism. the choice of proper range for instrument is important in instrumentation. So the scale range of an instrument is defined as the difference between the largest and the smallest reading of the instrument. Okay, so then we can say that the instrument range is in between x minimum and the x max. Suppose the highest point of calibration is x max units, while the lowest is x minimum units. So you can say the range will be in between x minimum and the x max. Now, the many times we can say that instrument range is x max. Also, it can be expressed like this. Okay. Now, the instrument span. So, instrument span, it is a difference between x max and the x min. So, the instrument span is equal to x max minus x min. Example, a thermometer calibrated between 200 degrees Celsius to 500 degrees Celsius, then the range will be equal to 200 degrees Celsius to 500 degrees Celsius, or it can be expressed x max means maximum range. So it will be 500 degrees Celsius. That will be the range. So you can express the range like 200 degrees Celsius to 500 degrees Celsius, or it can be expressed like 500 degrees Celsius. That is the maximum. And the span, that will be the difference between maximum range and the minimum range. So it will be 500 degrees Celsius minus 200 degrees Celsius. That will be equal to 300 degrees Celsius. That will be the span. So this is regarding the range or a span. Now we will discuss regarding the linearity. So one of the best characteristics of an instrument or the measurement system is considered to be linearity. That is, the output is linearly proportional to input. So this is because the conversion from a scale reading to the corresponding measured value of input quantity is convenient by multiplying by a fixed constant. So if you multiply the input by a fixed constant, you will directly get the output. So that is called the linear behavior of the instrument. Also, when the instrument is a part of a large data or control system, linear behavior of the part often simplifies the design and analysis of the whole system. Okay, so linearity is defined as the ability of an instrument to reproduce its input linearly. So linearity is a simple measure of the maximum deviation of the calibration points from the ideal straight line. So you can say the linearity is defined as maximum deviation of output from idealized straight line upon actual readings. So you can see in a graph there is a maximum deviation output from the line, it is shown. Okay. So if for an instrument calibration curve is not a straight line, it should not be concluded that the instrument it is inaccurate. The non-linear behavior does not essentially lead to inaccuracy. So such an instrument may be highly accurate as ever. So this is regarding the linearity. So next is sensitivity. So it is another important characteristics of the instrument. So sensitivity is the smallest amount of difference in quantity that will change the instrument reading. So sensitivity of a spring balance can be expressed as 25 mm per kg, for example, indicating additional load of 1 kg will cause additional displacement of the spring by 25 mm. So sensitivity of an instrument may also vary with temperature or other external or environmental factors. This is known as sensitivity drift. Okay, so sensitivity, it is a smallest amount of difference in quantity that will change an instrument reading. So that is called a sensitivity. So in order to avoid such sensitivity drift, sophisticated instruments are either kept at control temperature or suitable inbuilt temperature compensation schemes are provided inside the instrument. Okay, so that is regarding the sensitivity. Then repeatability. Now repeatability, it is the characteristics of precision electrical measuring instrument. So it describes the closeness of output readings when the same input is applied repetitively over a short period of time with the same measurement conditions, same instrument, and same observer, same location, and same conditions of use maintained throughout. So that is called the repeatability. Reproducibility, that is the next characteristics. It describes the closeness of output readings for the same input when there are changes in the method of measurement, observer, measuring instrument, location, conditions of use, and time of measurement. So that is the main difference between repeatability and reproducibility. Next is dead zone. So it is the largest change of input quantity for which there is no output of the instrument. So when there is a no output, there is a change in input. For instance, the input applied to the instrument may not be sufficient to overcome the friction and will in that case not move at all. So that is called a dead zone. So you can see the repeatability and reproducibility. So repeatability and reproducibility studies evaluate the precision of a measurement system. So it is important that instrument properly calibrated before starting repeatability and reproducibility study. Next is hysteresis. Now regarding the hysteresis, so it is a phenomenon which gives different output effects when loading and unloading, whether it is mechanical system or an electrical system or any system. So hysteresis is non-coincidence of loading and unloading curve. So the curves that are not matching during loading and unloading, that is called a hysteresis. So hysteresis in a system arises due to the fact that all the energy is put into the stress part when loading. It is not recoverable upon unloading. Okay, so it shows the different readings while loading and the unloading. Now the first case, that is hysteresis effect due to internal friction. So you can see, so the curve A in a graph or the diagram. So this is regarding hysteresis effect due to internal friction. So when the input of the instrument, it is slowly varied from 0 to full scale and then back to 0, it output varies as shown in the figure. So there will be no zero output. It will produce some output. The non-coincidence of output when the input is increased and then decrease is an account of internal friction or hysteretic damping. So it is due to internal friction. Okay, second case, instruments having both sides of 0. In case of instruments which are used on both sides of 0, that is input applied on both positive and negative sides, the variation of output that will be shown. Then instruments having external sliding friction, free play, and looseness in the mechanism. In case of instruments which do not have internal friction but have external sliding friction, that is constant Coulomb friction, the input output relations that are shown in the diagram. So in a given instrument, the number of causes listed above combine to give an overall effect which may result in output input relationship that is shown in a diagram. You can see the diagram. This is the overall effect of all the cases that are described above. Okay, so that is regarding the hysteresis. Then the threshold. If the input to an instrument is gradually increased from 0, the input will have to reach a certain minimum level before the change in the instrument's output reading. So this minimum level of input is known as threshold of the instrument. So for example, eddy current speedometer used in automobiles typically have a threshold of about 15 km per hour. So in other words, if the instrument input is increased very gradually from 0, there will be some minimum value below which no output change can be detected. So that minimum value of input, that is called the threshold of the instrument. In specifying the threshold, the first detectable output change is often described as any noticeable measurable change. So example, that is a backlash between the two mechanical elements. That is a example of threshold value. Then the drift. So regarding the drift, so all calibrations and specifications of an instrument are only valid under controlled conditions of temperature and pressure. So as variations occur in ambient temperature, etc., certain static characteristics of an instrument changes. Such environmental conditions affect the output of the instrument, and the term used for this, it is called a drift. So there is a effect on a output due to environmental conditions, that is called a drift. So no drift means that with a given input the measured value do not change with time. Okay, so drift may be classified into three categories. So zero drift. So if the whole calibration gradually shifts due to slippage, permanent set, or due to undue warming of electronic tube circuits, zero drift sets in. Okay. So example is the mechanical form of scale or the weighing scale is a common example of an instrument that is prone to zero drift. It is quite usual to find that there is a reading of perhaps 1 kg with no one stood on the scale. So if someone of known weight of 70 kg were to get on the scale, the reading would be 71 kg. And if someone is known weight of 100 kg were to get on the scale, the reading would be 101 kg. Okay, so this is due to the warming up or the slippage or the permanent set, that is called the zero drift. Then the sensitivity or the span drift. If there is a proportional change in the indication all along the upward scale, the drift is called the span drift or sensitivity drift, that is shown in a diagram. Now next is resolution. If the input to an instrument increases slowly from some arbitrary non-zero value, it will be observed that the output of the instrument does not change at all until there is a certain minimum increment of the input. This minimum increment in what is input is called resolution of the instrument. Thus, the resolution is defined as the smallest incremental of the input quantity to which the measuring system responds. This is the most important static characteristics of electrical measuring instrument. So you can see the resolution. It is a measure of the smallest change in an input signal that the measurement system can detect. So example is using a car speedometer as an example again, this is has subdivisions of typically 10 miles per hour. So this means that when the needle is in between the scale markings, we cannot estimate speed more accurately than to the nearest 5 miles per hour. So this value of 5 miles per hour thus represents the resolution of the instrument. Thank you.